the entire package we put together was designed to help businesses across the spectrum to be in place and stable until we get past the virus restrictions and can let our economy stand back up. The Paycheck Protection Program was designed for those companies, basically small businesses, 500 employees and less. And what it is designed to do is to allow them to get an immediate loan for about the next 2 months to cover their payroll, rent, and other fixed costs so that they don't have to lay off employees, can keep them employed, and move forward. And then if they do that and keep their employees and their businesses in place and ready to go back to be resilient and move back into operation, then the loan will be forgiven. So it's basically a grant to keep our small businesses in place and their employees in place and operational. There have been a few glitches trying to get it moving forward because we wanted to move it so fast, but we are working those through. The form is literally less than 2 pages long, I think, and we are coordinating it very carefully with Treasury and the Small Business Administration.
Yeah, I know you've asked Treasury for some clarification on some things, and they have delivered, it looks like. This morning, Senate Majority Leader McConnell said that we are going to need more money for the small business package. Do you think that is appropriate and we do need to see more money? And if so, how much and what will it be going to?
Well, I do believe that Senator McConnell was right. We put $359 billion into it in the last package. That will literally not cover all of our small businesses in America for the next 2 months. That's how strong our economy is. And so I believe, I don't know what the number will be, but we will have to put significant additional dollars into it soon so that we can accomplish that objective I just mentioned of keeping these small businesses in place. I don't think this is going to be a partisan battle. I believe both Republicans and Democrats will agree with this. It's one of the key parts of our bill. And I should mention that another key part of our bill is for those companies above 500, the mid-market, even up into the larger markets. And we put $450 billion into a Treasury facility that would not be a grant-type program, but would be a very successful injection of liquidity, and the Federal Reserve can leverage those dollars to get about $4 trillion or more dollars in liquidity into the rest of our marketplace. And this is intended to give stability and strength again so our economy can stand back up once the government restrictions are lifted.
And Senator, we did tell our viewers that we were going to have you on this afternoon, and we did get some questions from homeowners who understand if they're hurt by COVID-19, there is a route where they can delay mortgage payments up to a year, some homeowners, but they're also saying that they're hearing from banks that they may have to pay back those loans in a lump sum when the months are up. Do you think that there needs to be any changes to this? We understand there has to be some give and take on both sides, obviously.
Yes, there need to be some corrections. The bottom line is I don't think that it is realistic to expect that those who have to miss a couple of home payments can make that all up right at the end of the next couple of months. There is a contemplation that some of this loan forgiveness, or maybe even all of it, would be put onto the back end of the loan so that they just had a forbearance period or a pause for a while, and then we catch up. And if we do that, that should not put any of the homeowners into a bad bind, but it will put the mortgage servicers and others into a bind. And so we're literally looking at a way to find some liquidity for the mortgagors and the mortgage servicers to not be driven into bankruptcy or have their businesses driven down while we are giving this forbearance on the loans.
Yes, sir. And we're going to have to leave it there. I got one more question for you. Democrat leaders were saying that there's possibly going to be a fourth aid package later down the road. I think Nancy Pelosi said another $1 trillion. Do you expect to see a fourth aid package, and do you think it's warranted? Do you think we're going to need it?
I do think that we will need another one. I think that the virus is not going to be able to be, and its impacts economically are not going to be able to be entirely eliminated in the next 2 months, although I believe we should see some restrictions lifted before then. But I do believe there will be another one. There's obviously a big debate in Congress on what that is, and frankly, a disagreement between many about what it should be. I personally think the programs we've got in place are working, and if anything, we need to extend and strengthen them, which is what I would look for primarily in the next package, though we will need to be doing some additional things to help protect people in every walk of life in our society and just provide them a safety net until we get through these incredibly strict restrictions on social distancing and business operation.
And I should probably get this in as well, Senator. There's been a lot of talk about healthcare workers receiving hazard pay, possibly in the next aid package that could come. Do you think that this needs to be included?
I would not oppose that. I think those who are putting their lives on the line to help us get through this crisis deserve some additional support. And so that kind of thing, I think, is needed. One of the key things in the bill that we did pass, and which should be strengthened in the next bill, was to recognize that in addition to strengthening our economy and protecting it, we need to attack the virus and to attack the crisis. And the more money we can put into doing that effectively, whether it is research and development on treatments and other aspects of dealing with the virus, or whether it is protecting our healthcare workers, I think would be an appropriate action for Congress to consider.
Well, thank you as always, Senator, for your efforts in Washington and for reaching out and talking to us today. We know our viewers appreciate it, and we do as well.
Thank you.